whether or not how far is he willing to go, in other words?
Exactly. He's picked it up a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just the supervisor, it's the primary unit has the say-so also.
Okay, we're getting transitioning northbound 605, it looks like.
605. Okay.
So we're going back into Santa Fe Springs here.
And 605 south, is that right? Yep, 605 south. All right, so if you're just joining us, we're following this pursuit of this silver Audi, paper plates. Guy just didn't want to pull over. It wasn't that he or she was wanted for anything. They just were trying to pull the person over, and they didn't pull over. And this person has been making a giant loop around Norwalk, Santa Fe Springs, Downey, using the 5 and the 605 and the 405 as freeways. So hasn't really gone anywhere. Just been making a bunch of turns.
And at one point, 2 CHP units crashed onto him, one on the driver's side and the other on the passenger side, but that didn't stop him. He made a U-turn and made a run for it.
Coming up shortly, we will have an option to take the 105 freeway. So that's something else we may see here.
Ooh,
big old lane change into the HOV lane. See, the thing is, he can make those moves, and Chuck, feel free to weigh in here, but a CHP officer can't necessarily make the same kind of dangerous move.
Right, you don't want to repeat his dangerous move and exacerbate the situation. You know, they've got more units behind them that can take over as the primary, so we don't...
I was going to ask you, what do they do if they can't make the move?
Well, the helicopter's still there. They'll figure out a way around it.
And you got units up ahead.
Yeah. Because if he goes, wrong way on the freeway, we're not going to go wrong way on the freeway and have, 4 cars going the wrong way instead of just one.
Yeah, I see some movement in the car. Yeah, I see him reaching for something.
Looks like he's throwing things out.
Is he throwing things out the window?
I'm sorry?
I was just asking Chuck.
Yeah, it looks like he's got little small, I don't know if they're bindles or papers or what, but he seems to be going through them and throwing them out the window.
And I don't know that that's the driver. That looks like a passenger.
Yeah, he was leaning way over unless there's somebody in the back seat.
Talk about the moves that put people in danger. In fact, we're going to double box and show you guys the last move he tried to make, where he was heading southbound, goes into the construction zone, passes those barrels filled with sand, makes a U-turn on a freeway. Kind of gives you an idea of how inventive this guy has been.
He seemed to have known that there was a way out at the other end, so...
Yeah, I wouldn't have known that.
Yeah.
In fact, I would have thought he was going to get pinned in by K-rails.
Right.
So here we are back live. And we are on the, I'm sorry, Steph, was it northbound 605?
Southbound 605, we're coming up on that 105 freeway, so that may be a transition this person opts to take.
Okay.
Looks like we just passed that 105, so we're still in Norwalk, approaching a big intersection. This person could think about exiting at Rosecrans. Alondra is coming up as well, so those are 2 major thoroughfares there.
Yeah, and yet, none of these exits is going to do anything for him that the other ones didn't.
No.
So, I mean, it's really just kind of spinning your wheels, if you'll forgive the pun. He's buying time, and that's about it.
Yeah, and here's the deal. We'll encounter, you can see on the map there, a little bit of slowing towards the 91. I'm going to move this red circle here so you can see a better location, and you can follow that yellow line just south of where this person is. We're going to see a little bit of slowing towards the 91, and then if that person gets past that, then we are more open heading into Cerritos.
Helicopter seems to pull out.
Looks like they backed off a little bit.
No, well, this is freeway speeds, though. Yeah. This is different than they would be, how close they would be on surface
that or
streets.
He's picked up speed.
Yeah, that's true.
He's in an Audi.
And they want to kind of hang back. If he crashes, they don't want to be right on top of him. So they want to stay back a little safer.
Okay.
That's a good point.
We're getting off.
Did he just make the transition, Steph? 91
east. It's the 91.
Yeah.
91 eastbound.
91 westbound. So we're heading into Bellflower now.
Yeah, going into Bellflower. Yeah, that's a very good point. Chuck just said if he crashes, they don't want to be part of the crash. And in the litigious world that we live in, it's happened before where people being pursued have blamed police officers on their injuries and on the crash.
Right.
And of course, then the possibility of others, innocent motorists being involved in a crash. And they most definitely would blame the police agency, which really puts officers in a pinch.
Exactly.
And you know, Chuck, when you were on these things, when you were an active officer, did you think along those lines? We've got to be careful about liability here.
Exactly. You weigh all the factors: the speed, the jurisdiction, the radio communications, how he's acting, how your car's performing. And again, if you know the guy, it's not worth chasing him. Let him go. We'll get him later.
Really?
Yeah.
Just getting off again. Okay.
Well, that's where different police agencies have different policies, you know, along those lines.
It's getting pretty uniform now to where.
Is it? Really? Okay.
Yeah, and you know, some are more aggressive with the pit maneuvers, some are more aggressive with
trying to bypass that van.
like
Squeeze right through there. Okay, what street is he on now, Steph?
Possibly Bellflower Boulevard because he wasn't on the westbound 91 for too long here.
Wow, he's not letting up. This person is really intent on getting away. He's running into some traffic there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we think he got off where, Steph?
Bellflower Boulevard, possibly. That's the first exit just west on the 91, and this person wasn't on the 91 for very long here.
Okay.
He's heading westbound.
So he's on Bellflower heading west, so that parallels the 91. And here comes the officer up closer again. Once again, surface streets, slower speeds, but a wide open space. Picked up a little too fast there to spin him out. And we think he's on Artesia.
On Artesia. So he would have exited Bellflower and then turned on Artesia.
And now he's
Okay.
And now we're turning again here.
that unit's trying to get up close.
You know,
this driver is
in this
swerving
society,
all over the street.
you know, I mean, in the Southern California, you know,
Okay,
society of ours.
Here we go. There we
There's
go. We got
the
it
pit
close. There
maneuver.
we go.
Yeah.
There's a pit maneuver.
All right, now the other
Finally.
unit, is the other unit going to be there to stop him from moving out? He was
Oh, is he
trying,
trying to
was
get on
trying to get on the 91. So that officer who pitted him,
He's trying to move.
is that officer going to back up or not? And Chuck, there's
Oh, there are the units
a
right there.
psychological issue going on here too. When you get spun around like that, that's pretty disorienting, right?
Yes, and it does kill the engine on the car. So
Oh, it does? Okay.
Yes, that's.
So at this point, you have the CHP officers
Keeping their distance.
keeping their distance, but they're out of their cars and they have their guns drawn.
Right, the potential
Okay.
for this guy to try to run, try to drive around them is pretty high right here, so you don't want to get up too close.
Okay, and behind him is that original unit, and there's a
Yeah.
canine unit in front of him.
Right. So now it's up to this guy what he wants to do. It looks
Yeah.
like he's trying to get it in gear and get it started again.
Yeah.
When do they send the dog over?
Only if there's an opening, if the window's broken or if the door's open, they can send the dog if the guy's not cooperating. But at this time, there's no opening for the dog to get in, so they're not going to risk the dog.
And I'm sure these officers are concerned whether this guy is armed.
Exactly.
They don't know if he has a gun or a knife or whatever.
Right. Yeah, just because he's committed one crime doesn't mean he hasn't committed a whole bunch of others.
But Chuck, isn't this strategically an opportune place for him to have stopped or for them to have pitted him?
That was perfect, yeah.
Yeah, he's on an on-ramp, so...
Guardrails on both sides
Right.
of the wall. He's got nowhere to go.
And he
Still sitting there, refuses to give up.
and that reality, I think, is sinking in pretty quickly for him.
Yeah. Yeah, he has nowhere to go now. He can't go over that wall. He can't go through the guardrail. He's doing a lot of moving around in there, which is not real smart on his part.
Look at all these units lined up.
Making sure that they blocked every possible way.
Yep.
This is Clark Avenue, just near the entrance of the eastbound 91 freeway.
All right, there you go. Chuck, don't leave us, by the way, as we're waiting for CHP officers to decide what to do next. At this point, communicating with them is the first thing they do. Every police agency has an escalation policy, and it always starts with verbal commands. And there are a lot of weapons trained on that car.
And we're still not sure if anyone's in the back seats.
Well, there seemed to be somebody in the passenger seat at least, if not the
No,
back
I think
seat.
the driver was just leaning over.
Oh, do you think so?
Yeah, I think he was just leaning over, picking things up and throwing them out.
Well, you never know.
But you never know.
What he could have been carrying that he didn't want police to find,
And it's
although...
hard to see from their perspective because the windows are tinted. Tinted dark, too.
He could be waiting out and calling his friends and family,
Yeah?
just sitting in there. We've seen people in their
Yeah,
cars
hey,
just,
am I on TV?
yes.
No, I'm not joking. That's
Yeah, no,
exactly
no,
what some of these
exactly.
yahoos do.
Oh, yeah. Any sort of notoriety. We've seen a lot of pursuits end like this where they will sit there for hours. And CHP, LAPD, they just wait them out. Or sometimes they will, they'll do the beanbag and they'll start to close in and break a window or something like that. We've seen that as well.
Let's just hope he doesn't sit there for hours.
So, Chuck, if you're still with us, what are the options here? Oh, we don't have Chuck right now. All right. Don't hang up, though, Chuck. We're trying to do a little switchboard maneuver here.
Looks like he's got something in his hands. You guys can see.
Okay, Chuck's back on the line.
Oh, Stu Mundell.
Hey,
Hey, are you watching this?
I am watching. We're using the Facebook Live, so I'm a little bit behind you guys. I saw the pit. I watched pretty much the whole thing.
Okay. What do you think?
Well, you know, the coolest part, or the most interesting part of the whole thing was when the CHP tried to do that pursuit sandwich and they stopped them. It shows you how aggressive these law enforcement officers are.
Yeah.
There must be something about this guy that they really wanted to bring this thing to an end. And then now that pit, now there's a standoff. I heard Chuck talking a little bit earlier about that guy moving around in the car. Not the thing to do. We know that just from the officers because you don't know what he's grabbing for. We don't. And these guys, these law enforcement that's there, they have to have some idea what's going on with this car. If they run the plate and it comes back stolen, that's one thing. But to be that aggressive, there must be a reason why they are chasing this guy so aggressively. And also, you got to wonder, why is this car not moving? I mean, it's gone through a lot. It was a beautiful Audi in the beginning. Now it's all banged up. And why is he not moving?
Well, as Chuck pointed out, the pit will very often stall the engine, and it's sometimes difficult to get it started again. Not always, but sometimes.
We understand that, the newer cars, when you spin them around like that, it shuts off the fuel pump, but that Audi should be able to restart. So something more must be going on right there. And also, they had that passenger jump out earlier. That was pretty interesting in itself. I'm watching the footage. I am a little bit behind from you guys because I'm watching on Facebook.
Sorry, you're not missing much right now.
Yeah,
Don't worry about it.
It looks like the driver is on the phone or he just got off the phone.
He's got the window down.
And is talking to the officers. Yeah.
Well, if he has the window down and there's some communication, the officers are going to take their time. They're going to use that. Time is always on law enforcement's side. So if he's talking, they've got something going on right now, and that's at least it's communication. But also with that window down, that leaves the opportunity that if he starts, not complying or not, it's taking too long, they're just going to go ahead and send that dog in there, which could be an interesting thing in itself. I keep watching the shots here. I definitely see what you guys are talking about. That window is down.
Now it's back up.
Now it's back up. They just rolled it back up, Stu.
Well, maybe, hopefully he's not watching Facebook Live with us and he realizes that they might send the dog in there. They can break those windows very easily. We've seen it in the past.
Yeah.
Doors opening.
There we go.
Hands are up.
Hands are up.
There it is.
Starting to make the first wise decision of his morning.
Yes, excellently put.
Okay.
All right, putting his hands together, making a motion as if to say, he's holding something, the keys maybe? No, hold on.
You have something in your hand.
He's tapping his hands together in an odd way. I don't know what he's doing.
Oh.
He's putting both hands up, but he has something in his right hand, and then he's motioning down toward the ground. This guy is not making.
To amaze me.
He's not making normal moves here.
Well,
his gesticulations are strange.
Well, I'm wondering.
They have that dog. I'm sorry, Sharon. If they have that dog, they're going to let that dog loose.
No, he's not. He's not disobeying their commands.
It's almost as if he's signing. That's what I'm thinking. I was looking at him signing.
Yeah.
He seems to be. there's something disturbed about his actions.
Right.
They wouldn't ask him to get back
Yeah,
up.
no.
See, he's trying to communicate to them using some sort of sign. You're right.
It's a
And now he's
sign.
back down on the ground again. It's almost as if he can't. No, they're going to ask him not to put his hands. They're going to have. See, look, he's using that right hand
I wonder
to
if he's
communicate.
partially deaf or he can't speak.
Maybe he's just too far away from them and he can't understand the
Yeah, but
command.
That's true,
but those motions.
body language was.
Yeah.
It showed like he was signing.
Hands back out, spread.
He's very,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm just, no, I'm just starting to watch.
Can we lose?
See, now I'm starting to see what you guys are talking about. It is very unusual indeed, but, you know, all in all, even if this is some sort of communication issues, you know, anybody knows that law enforcement, with lights and sirens, they want you to pull over and all that crazy stuff that he's been doing.
All right.
There's no excuse in the end.
Hey, Stu, can you hold on for just a minute for us? And thanks so much for your input. We want to go to Sergeant Tony Garrett with the CHP. So obviously this is his agency. Sergeant, what do you know about this guy?
Hey, this is Chuck Griffith.
Oh, it's Chuck.
Chuck,
I
I thought we had
Sorry.
Sergeant Tony Garrett on the phone. Chuck,
All right, let's try for Sergeant Garrett one more time. We've got this guy getting handcuffed. Sergeant, can you fill us in at all on this guy?
Yeah, this is like the pursuit has finally come to an end, and we're in the process of taking him into custody now.
Yeah, but we were a little confused about his movements. It seemed like he was making some strange movements as he was getting out of the car. Or are you privy to the radio transmission about anything about him?
No, I'm not. I'm only watching it from the TV.
so originally, what was the want on this guy?
It was a stolen vehicle?
Okay, stolen vehicle.
Yes, ma'am.
And where did it originate and what time?
I believe it originated in Westminster.
In Westminster.
Westminster, okay.
Uh-huh.
At a car dealership? Because it looked like it had a paper plate.
That info I don't have.
Okay.
Car dealership or not.
Okay, so the pit maneuver worked. That your units, when they were in a parking lot of a fast food restaurant, tried to pin him. It's one of the first time I've seen that. Tried to pin him between the driver door and the passenger door to stop him, and that didn't work. Did that escalate your pursuit?
Well, it does, because the guy was exhibiting some erratic and some dangerous driving behavior. At that time, they tried to box the guy in, and he was able to maneuver his way out of it. So thankfully, we were able to get the pit maneuver performed and bring this thing to a conclusion.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Sergeant Tony Garrett. So you guys are code 4 at this, and you're done, right?
It looks like it, yes.
Well, everyone's safe. Thank goodness for that. All right, we're going to wrap this up for you. You are watching the end of a pursuit that started in Westminster, and this is a pursuit of a stolen vehicle. The driver had led officers, CHP officers, Santa Ana Police Department officers as well, all around the Southland, seemed to be going in a loop, driving at very dangerous high speeds, making all kinds of dangerous turns, and until he ended here on Clark Street.
Didn't really seem to have a direction anywhere he was going. He did step it up. He made a lot of dangerous moves that could have put a lot of people in danger. Did put a lot of people in danger. But this pursuit has ended, and ended to in a safe manner.
All right, that does it for us at CBS 2 News at 11 a.m. We'll have more at noon on this pursuit.
This is Sheila. She got satellite. I get tons.